It's 6:30 and I will now call the meeting, the Fern Ridge School Board to order. We have a shared vision in the Fern Ridge School District to provide excellence for every student so that each will reach their greatest potential. Thank you for the members of the public who have joined us. As a reminder, school board meetings are a work session. Our work sessions are meetings of boards held in public, providing an opportunity to observe the board in discussion and action. In an effort to conduct official board business, we ask that the audience be respectful and refrain from questions, comments, and unnecessary noise while the board conducts the meeting. There's an opportunity for citizen comment tonight, and the board looks forward to hearing from those who have signed up. I will share some reminders at that portion of the meeting. Also, please note that all board meetings are live streamed and posted on the school board area of the website. First thing tonight is we got the Citizenship Award.
Okay, that's us, Jackson. All right. Okay, I'll go first. Okay, this is Mr. Jackson Crow, and he is a fourth grader at Elmira Elementary School. And I have some things I'm going to read about him. The first is from Miss Lux, his current classroom teacher, who's here tonight. Jackson is an all-around amazing kid. He works hard on his academics and leads with a positive spirit. He is also hilarious and enjoys cracking others up. He is kind and respectful as well. The second one is from Mrs. Kenyon, who's also here, right there with us tonight. Jackson works extra hard to be a valuable member of our community. With his hard work and perseverance, he always comes to school with a smile and ready to learn and deal with whatever comes his way. I love that we're hearing similar words from all of the adults. That's great. And Mrs. Rosa also wrote something. Our school and community would not be the same without Jackson's cheerful attitude, thoughtful nature, and the positive impact he makes on all of our community members. And the next one's for me. Jackson is an important member of our school community. He brings laughter and joy to all of us daily and continues to amaze us with his positive attitude and great sense of humor. Jackson loves to make the morning announcements and is a huge fan of public speaking. You gotta hide the microphone around him. Jackson is truly the perfect example of all of our school's monthly character traits, but the one that stands out most to me is perseverance. Jackson never gives up. He works hard, stays positive, and continues striving to reach his goals. His determination and enthusiasm make him a wonderful role model for others and a valued member of our school community. So, and again, we didn't plan that, but you heard consistent words: humor, school community, positive attitude. He's all of those things and more. Congratulations, Jackson. Okay, let's sign off.
That was pretty good.
Are we ready to pledge now?
Yes.
All right.
Pledge for us, Jackson.
Okay, let's do it, ma'am. Flag right here, bud. Yeah, you do. You're right. Okay, go ahead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Jackson. Good job. You guys, yeah, if you guys want to leave, go ahead. No, buddy. Great job, Jackson.
Yeah, good job, Jackson.
Brings us to the public comment portion, which we had none, so. Monthly items, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the April 20th, 2026 regular meeting minutes?
And make a motion to approve the April 2026 regular meeting minutes.
Second that. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Means you're up, Juana.
Already, huh? Okay.
Making good time.
Yeah, that came quick. All right, so this is our enrollment report as of May 1st. Myra Elementary has an average class size of 23.4, and Veneta has an average class size of 22.57. Total elementary enrollment is 574, which includes the bridges and structured learning rooms. The middle school has 302 students enrolled, including the Bridges classroom, and the high school is at 353. So in-district enrollment is down by 49 from the budget projection, including out-of-district placements and charter schools. We are down by 27. Does the board have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. And I have the financial report also. Okay, so this is our general fund revenue and expense report. As of April 30th, we have received 96% of our budgeted revenue compared to 93% at the same time last year. And we've spent 67% of our budgeted expenses compared to 68% at the same time last year. So very similar in both. Does the board have any questions on the financial report?
Okay, I do, please. Did you say that the expenditures were 27%?
67.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And last year was?
68.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
All right.
I do want to remind everyone about the budget meeting tomorrow.
Good girl.
Is there a motion to approve the general fund expenditure report for April 30th, 2026?
I move to approve that.
A second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Must pass 5-0. Thanks, Kawana.
Yeah.
Is everybody planning on coming tomorrow? Yeah.
I have to Zoom that practice, but I'll be zooming with an airbud.
I don't know if I can or not. Can I do that? An airplane?
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's.
Got one pod, one whistle.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, that's what I got, Gary.
Works.
I'm not sure what time the wife's flying, and some of them will make it. That's okay.
So we, as a reminder, I mean, we have 10 people, we need 6. I'll let you know if it gets to be a problem. Also as a reminder of the board, if I'm a board member and I was unable to attend tomorrow, the budget committee makes the recommendations, the board will actually be the board in June that final stamps the budget. But if you did have any questions about it, whether you're gonna be here or not, because Kwana and I still have gotten 0 questions, be sure and get those to us by tomorrow morning.
If you have a problem with the call, I'm looking at.
Sounds good.
All right, that brings us to the report. Principal Johnson.
Actually, we're tag teaming tonight, Mr. Fireman Meyer sharing duties.
Oh, we get to hear from Eric tonight.
Can I approach the bench here?
Yeah, Mr. Carl, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
I feel like I've known you too long to call you that.
All right, yeah, so this year's been pretty dynamic. We've had a lot of challenges, a lot of really exciting things happen, and some really tough and challenging things happen. So we'll just come to the next slide. We have a couple new classified staff. Mrs. Marlene Golan is a longtime community member, and she came to us with experience working in elementary schools, and we're really glad to have her. And Katie Howe is our new SPED IA also. She came to us from the Bridgewater Academy in Eugene. She was an IA there who worked with students impacted by autism. So she came with significant experienced students. So then our two new certified staff members, David Kishuba, he's our new Bridges teacher this year. And he's been working real hard to rise to the challenges, many and varied challenges there. It's a tough role. He's doing real well. And then Jack Knapp came to us from Virginia through Astoria, and he's fit into the team really, really well, really integrated, and we're happy to have him. And we have a number of really interesting new transfers of staff that have already been in place in our district for a while. And we have Pat Wonder, who was assigned to come back to us after a couple of years at the full time at the high school. So he's with us for it says 2 periods, but he's also there for first period. So he's first, second, third period, teaches 8th grade language arts. 8th grade language arts has been split up across 4 different teachers because of some cuts in FTE that we had to make at the end of last year. And Deborah Lloyd, who is our 7th grade ELA teacher, is taken on one period of 8th grade. Heather Honstein, sorry, 6th grade ELA. Heather Honstein is our 7th grade ELA teacher, is taken on one period of 8th grade ELA. And Brad Davis, who's our 8th grade social studies teacher, is taking on 8th grade language arts for the first time in probably 50 years. So for Mr. Brad Davis, he's been there for a long time. Mr. Matt Taylor is visits us once a day during 5th period for advanced band, comes down from high school, and he's our advanced band teacher. And him and Mikey, Mikey kind of swap places. Mikey's up there at the high school doing choir, building up their choir program there. So those are our changes in staff. We have some facilities upgrades thanks to the bond that was passed back when. And the on the very right hand side is the first thing that was completed at our school through the bond funds was that covered area on the front. And students really do use it. It's empty there, but you'll notice it's a sunny day. But students use it when it's raining. That was completed back in, I want to say, February, March-ish. And then they just completed the drainage, proper drainage behind it. So all the water coming off the roof doesn't turn it back into a swamp. So that's real nice too. So, and then you'll see the two middle pictures. Over there. I'm talking fast already. And we have our back covered play area that was just finished and the kids are really enjoying it. We really appreciate it. It's quite an expansion and upgrade from what we had before. Yeah, so it includes some, if you see in the way back in the picture on the left, there's some extra seating that was put in there, some concrete seating that kids can hang out there. And there's a couple half-court basketball courts and there's a handball court out in the sun there. And there's an extra patio space too, where we can move some of those tables and benches and stuff that we're hiding out in our back courtyard. And so lots of places for kids to hang out during lunchtime and things. And yeah, and classes back there every once in a while too. So this is our enrollment trends, and since COVID, we had a real drop in enrollment at COVID time, but since then you can see it kind of creeping back up. We're a little bit down this year from yesterday or from last year, but you'll see labeled on there on the very far bar, it says October 2023. This is crazy. I don't know how many times I typed in October 2026 on the Excel spreadsheet and it never translated over. It kept putting in October 2023. So, and same thing with the numbers on the May 2026 bar. Those numbers should be 102 for 6th grade, or yeah, and 93 for 7th grade and 107. But the bar itself is accurate. It's really weird. It's one of those Excel mysteries that I haven't figured out. So
What does the 100, 200, 300 stand for on the left?
those are that's just.
Oh, okay, 100, 200, 300 students.
Yeah, it's just the graph.
Tracking.
Yeah. So our enrollment's slowly creeping up, and our projected numbers are even a little bit higher than they have. So with that, I want to turn some time over to Mrs. Johnson. She's going to talk about state test scores and such things.
I think it's the fun stuff.
Right.
Okay, so I tried to make this as simple as we go through these slides, and we'll go through them. They won't take too much time. This is our math test results from last year. We don't have this year's math test scores yet. We just finished. And you can see 6th grade compared to the state. It's not bad.
So is that saying that 71% don't meet state?
Is it percent or student number?
It's percent.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what's the nearly meets?
Nearly meets would be those kids that are just under the meets. They just need a little bit of a push and they'll be up there. So at the middle school, sixth grade, 13% of the students exceeded. State average was 14%. 20% of our students met. The state average was 15. And we had a higher number of 32 compared to the state average, which was 26. And our very low students were actually less than the state average. We had only 36%, the state average was 45.
I'll track this 45%.
Yeah. And then all these are set up the similar way. 7th grade. And 8th grade. 8th grade is where we really need to focus and improve. And part of the impetus on 8th grade improvement is not only do we need to improve because we're not doing well, but that's also gonna be one of the benchmark criteria areas next year that the state's gonna be looking at. So,
How many total students in 8th grade?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
111. I was gonna say, we just saw
I was
that.
gonna say,
Yeah.
um,
So when we look at these, I mean, they always look so. Yeah, that's okay, that's searching. Am I just seeing it wrong? I mean, because the state average seems crazy even low, like.
Yeah.
And then we're below that. Am I reading it wrong? Is it information we don't have? I mean,
No, our state is also one of the lowest in the nation.
it just seems so bleak.
well, we're above in 6th grade. And then you've got 8th grade. It just varies by grade and subject.
How much is the students opting out of it or just simply not putting time into the test? Is it a lot?
My 2 cents would be on that, it is a lot. It's significant, but it isn't any different than any other school, right? I mean, everybody's dealing with middle schoolers, so if we have some percentage, 15-20% of our kids that don't give their best effort, I would say, that's not unique to Fern Ridge Middle School. So it isn't like I don't think it really impacts it definitely impacts our core number, but when you're comparing to the state, middle schoolers are middle schoolers. We do a lot to try to get kids to give their best effort. Certainly not all of them do. I would remind you that, because, this is something we talk about at every administrative meeting and focus on in August and look at our data. A reminder that there is no comparison to other states. There is no other state that takes our 8th grade math test or our 7th grade or our 6th grade, right? There's only 18 states, I think that's the number, maybe you correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Marshall, that take smarter balanced tests. And then amongst those 18 states, they use their own state standards to draw on the questions that go into make up what our kids see when they sit down in front of a computer. So just a reminder that there is no apples to apples comparison with anyone else.
Okay, so even if they're taking different tests, the states still have to have a nationwide standard.
No, they don't.
No,
It's a state standard.
it's just a state thing.
Yeah, another good example is
Education is deemed to the state, so.
the number of credits needed to earn a high school diploma, right? What those make up. In Oregon, that looks very different than Arkansas, than Wyoming, than New York, than Florida. Some unique things in Oregon around that would be that 3 credits of high school math all need to be at the Algebra 1 level or above. The specific requirements of personal finance now and economics, state graduation requirements, much like the standards in each subject area, are created at the state level. One of the biggest, and I think I mentioned this in a Friday update, to me, one of the biggest challenges in Oregon is that the governor is the state school superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes back and forth, right? If it's a Republican, it's one thing. If it's a Democrat, it's another thing. If they have a focus over here, their pet project, things just swing way too much. Or if you had a professional educator in that role for 10, 15, 20 years, you could start to see change over time. That isn't what happens in our system. If we're not the only, we're one of the only of a couple states where the governor is the state school superintendent. And that definitely creates a lot of decisions being made that that complicate things and more importantly, you know, switch us back and forth from one focus to another. Remember in the early 2000s, everything was No Child Left Behind. That was what it was going to be. Before that, it was Sim and Cam. And we just go through these cycles of rechanging focus and it makes things difficult. To get back to your original question, yeah, definitely concerning our math numbers. Again, I like to always focus on, for me, the health of our system is 11th grade. Do we need to get our 8th graders performing better? Absolutely. I think Ms. Johnson has some ideas for next year, specifically around math. But soon, I hope soon, they're going to make the requirement for passing this test back into a graduation requirement. Then we know we get our kids' best effort. But even with that, I can still, leading up to that, opt out every grade level up to that point.
Because if I'm reading that right, I mean, we're 15% passing in math last year.
It's like it's like 16 kids
Yeah.
Yeah, out of the whole school.
out of the entire 8th grade.
It's great.
Really is
I
great.
mean, out of 111 kids.
And again, it's about meeting that, it's meeting the standard.
Right.
And Oregon sets that cut score. Oregon could set it lower and they go, oh, wow, look how good it is compared to other states.
So what about previous years?
Not for other states though, like. Yeah, for our state, like,
I can share with you, we track it, it's on the door to my office if you wanna come look. I have every year, every school, state assessment result, every subject in a graph that we review each August. I've shared it with the board, but I'll share it again. So as far as previous years, we have all the data. Keep in mind, all the data looks different now. However many years we've been doing OSAS, do you recall, Miss Marshall? Is this year 9 or?
Yeah, maybe even 10.
But we can't really compare the last 9 years to the previous 20.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I can share kind of historically. where we're at
Is
now.
this year an outlier for the 8th grade class?
this is last year.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand. Is this
I
an
would,
outlier?
say it's a
No.
little worse than we expected it to be, but the 23-24, it was not good, not this bad, but not great either. So,
Gary, do you have a plan? Like, are we mixing up?
we've done some professional development this year, we've worked with Lady SD, that, Eric will talk to you about with Krista Parent. Krista Hawker, thank you. Where the teachers have gone through a lot of training. We are going to make some changes. We changed into a block schedule this year for testing and got a lot of positive feedback from teachers that went really, really well. Gave the kids an extended amount of time on the test. So they didn't have to stop and come back to it the next day, come back to it the next day, come back to it the next day.
Did anybody talk to the kids about the block scheduling and stuff to see how they felt about it?
I don't know if the math teachers have, but the language arts teachers talked to their kids. And the general feeling among the kids was that they were taking the test was they felt relaxed. They felt less pressure, less tense. I don't know how to say it.
We don't have an 8th grade math teacher here, right?
No.
No?
My biggest red flag is the 7th and 8th grade math teachers have been teaching math for a really long time. So
I guess my question to an actual math teacher in the 8th grade would be, do you think this is a direct representation of what the kids know? Like, that's really what I want to know. I want to just make sure we're not failing, not teaching so many children. I mean, these graphs are always so confusing to all of us and it's always like, you can't use this information or we use this information. But what is the feeling and did either of you have this? I mean, do the 8th graders in math class know the subject?
Mrs. Babcock.
So I'm the 6th grade math teacher. This is my 5th year teaching 6th grade math. I do think that in middle school, it is it's really hard to get the kids to care about the test, right? Because it doesn't matter to them at this point. Especially in 8th grade. 8th grade tends to be a spot where kids are like, I just want to get through this so that I can get out of this room, get through this process, right? I don't teach 8th grade, so I'm not sure what's going on within the classroom. I think that when they're at me, they probably know a little bit more than what they show on the test.
Okay.
I don't think it's as big of a reflection. It is a reflection though.
Yeah.
So.
If we can go to the next slide, there's some encouragement.
Yeah.
So,
We've done a ton of, I did a ton of professional development over the summer, brought that back to my co-teachers. And then we've done a ton of classes together, kind of around that complex math instruction. Kind of bringing these bigger ideas back to where we need to be.
So this is the STAR testing. The STAR is our 3 times a year benchmark. We do it in the fall, winter, and spring. This is specifically just the winter, this last winter. And the district has sent a benchmark for the STAR testing at 50th percentile rank. So a percentile rank means that if I just line 100 kids up from 1 to 100, we're looking at the 50th placement, right? So think of a bell curve. In a bell curve, the average range is 25 to 75. So the district set the benchmark right smack in the middle at 50. And this is not percentages, these are numbers. These are the numbers of kids who met or exceeded that benchmark in the green. And the number of kids in the blue are the ones who are close to it, so above 25, but not at 50. And the numbers in the red are the numbers that are below 25 in the low. So if you think about it as, we set our benchmark right in the middle at 50, but the average range is 25 to 75. So technically, the blue and the green are both the average. It's just low average, high average, and that average range. So,
Excuse me. So if these were both math numbers, right?
these are math numbers.
This is all math.
Yeah.
Okay, why are the graphs so different?
Well, this is this year, the last.
This is a different test. This is the STAR math assessment. It is not
Not the same kids.
not the same kids. This year's 8th graders, not the same kids. It's also a different assessment. It's a 1 day, 2 days at the most assessment. And it's mostly computer-based, computer-adapted questions. It doesn't have as much problem solving to it, right?
So if you get it right, it gets a little bit harder. If you get
Yeah.
it wrong, it gets a little bit
It
easier.
adjusts to you.
But adjusts based on how many questions you have to answer.
And it's also not meant to be, it's meant to be 3 times a year, kind of a probe,
Mhm.
and not like a postmortem.
Mhm.
The OSAS is meant to be a postmortem, it's meant to be a summative,
Of what
how
happened
you
last
get
year.
it,
Yeah.
right? This is supposed to be a information based to give us where they are, how they're doing, so that we can make a decision about who needs extra help, who's on track, who needs lots of extra help. And
Every
who's not.
3 tests, ideally, you should be getting a better score
Yes.
because you're learning as you.
So you have all that information?
Yes.
You have that data?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have tons, the STAR reports is a lot of them. I just picked this one because it was fairly easy to understand and clear.
What do you think? Just off the top of your head, what's an explanation for why it dipped so much this year, last year, from the year before?
From the year before,
Because you said it was
it
quite a bit lower than you expected.
lower than expected, I think the year before was, don't quote me, like 30.
Hmm.
And maybe this one was 15, this last estimate.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you why.
I mean, it's different kids.
totally different kids, but I mean, same teaching, right? Like, I mean,
Same expectations.
Yeah, same teacher, same expectations.
is it, I mean, and I'm just so confused. I mean, I don't want to make a big deal out of nothing, but I mean, that's not what this is, right? I mean.
Say that again.
Well, I mean, I get confused by the data and,
Yeah.
and all of it.
Well,
I don't want to make a big deal out of something that's not a big deal.
Yeah, sure.
But doesn't this seem like,
I'll meet with you.
okay,
Explain this.
yeah, well, it's,
Teach your needs.
yeah.
You can explain it to
The
him.
biggest thing I'd remind you is that,
Yeah.
like, if we can assist, we're always gonna fluctuate like
Right,
this.
okay.
You should not be fluctuating this negatively in that direction so heavily, though.
That's
Like-
we have 90 kids, 15 kid difference, right? One class has 30 kids on an IEP, the next year there's only 9. It's a significant difference when you're dealing with 90 kids.
I know I have 19 kids with an IEP in one class. I understand that, but
Right, so if next year you have 2, it would look a little bit different.
obviously. But obviously the point of this is concerning, so what are we doing about it?
Oh, well, I don't think, if you wanna know what we're doing about it, I suppose we just had a work session. I'm just here to hear Ms. Johnson's report. What I was wanting to share is that in bigger systems, right, there's not gonna be fluctuations like this. When I was in 4J and we had 8,400 third graders, you're not gonna see jumps of 20% probably in a single year. Listen, ours, we're always gonna have big jumps. However, like I will show you in the graph I share with you tomorrow, middle schools consistently over time been low at state testing. So this isn't a new thing.
So how are we compared to other schools of our size in the state? When you talk to other superintendents and principals from other schools, like other similar 3A size schools.
All I really look at is, I've never really compared, you know, our elementary schools to other elementary schools. So I don't know.
Is that all public stuff?
Yeah, we can look up, like our high school, you know, I sent you,
Yeah,
something on our high school. I think it was the 4th rated out of 47 schools in Lane County. They don't do that similarly for middle schools and elementary schools, but you can go to ODE and search Oregon State report cards, and it'll take you to a page where you just type in any school name and it'll pull up their history of school report cards.
Have Humphrey and Light provided any insight of like their behaviors are high, anything like that as to why?
No. No,
Okay, well,
not that I've had that conversation. I'm sure they discussed it in their department meetings.
I don't think I would be ordinary.
Yeah. I will say to Gary's point about makeup of classes being different, you know, our current 8th grade class has a very low special education population. Our incoming 6th grade class has about 3 times the number of IEPs. So it fluctuates, that can fluctuate greatly, and that can play a part in this. So, okay. And then this is our language arts data, and again, I set it up the same way. It's significantly higher scores.
So it's definitely math where we're struggling.
Yes. And then this is the same star testing for language arts.
So I want to add also that the STAR assessments, they're based off of the same state standards as the OSS. And so there's ideally and theoretically there is a crossover comparison between the STAR and what we might be able to expect in the for the OSS test. So it's not usually direct, but this is our first year doing the STAR tests across the board. So we're going to start to see how they compare.
How they compare the two, but with this information, you would expect the state testing to be higher if the kids.
Yes,
The effort.
yes, to a degree. Remember I said that our benchmark was set at 50th percentile?
Yeah.
I was looking at some paperwork that Michelle was nice enough to share with me this last couple of weeks, where the percentile ranking for the state benchmark for the state is a little higher.
Okay.
So even, you know, we may need to consider increasing our percentile rank benchmark next year to meet that higher benchmark.
It's definitely a goal, but we want this star to directly correlate to OSAS. We want our teachers to be able to give this assessment in the fall and go, oh, shoot, right now I have 10% of my kids passing the state test.
Right.
And if they were only, we hope that when we take it in the spring, that, oh boy, it was really close. Once we get that dialed in, then it's gonna be able to, impact instruction and impact other things that we're doing. And it'll encourage the teachers that they see that it's valid. Oh, shoot, the STAR testing was telling me 48% of our kids were gonna pass, and yep, it was 47, it was 49. Yeah, I wish there was a more clear cut way to, sure, I'm sure everybody in the state does.
Yeah. And then the next one is just our science. Ms. Fuentes, our science teacher. Sorry, it's okay. You can see that we actually exceed in some categories. More of our kids meet. And where that not yet in that category is much higher at the state level than it is in our building. So. And she's had, I think this is her third year of really high science scores. This has been a consistent one. Our science team, since she joined us, has been really strong. And this is a little hard to read, and apologize for that, but this is right out of Swiss data. This is our behavior data. And one of those years, can you see if it's green or blue is this year's?
Blue is.
Blue is numbers? Yeah. Maybe it's not hard to read. Maybe my glasses are just bad.
We're closer.
Girls are so low for May, that's crazy.
It's not yet. This was before last week, so. I'm just gonna say, if we did it again today, it might be a little bit different. But you can see it, it's some months are higher, some months are lower. It's just what it is. So.
They always get more unruly as the sun comes out, right?
Yeah. So, okay.
At least mine do.
This is our attendance. This is by grade so far this year. This is a little hard to explain. I'll do my best. The 92.48, the 91.66, and the 89.99 is the average daily attendance of that grade at school. So most days, 92% of the sixth graders came. Most days, 91% of the seventh grade came, and most days, 89.9% of the eighth grade was there. The 72 and the 76 and the 66 are the average percentage of eighth graders. The average percentage of students at each grade that met regular attendance rates. So they were there 90% or more. So 72% of the sixth grade kids were there 90% or more. 76 in the seventh grade, and that right there, the 66.867 for eighth grade might be part of the explanation for the low math part of it, not the whole of it.
Right, no.
But
I mean, only how much.
kids that aren't in the building, right?
Yeah.
They're not attending, it's hard to teach them.
Yeah.
So I think it is part of the discussion that we're going to be having about how do we address these issues around eighth grade next year. Attendance is a big one. Buy-in to eighth grade is a big one.
Get them to come to school.
Yeah, getting them to focus forward, focus on their future and start seeing and setting goals. And we have a lot of eighth graders, if you ask them, what do you want to do after high school? Don't have an answer. Do you want to finish high school? Don't have an answer. It's like getting them to focus on a goal and working towards that goal and using that eighth grade year to get ready for high school and not so much just killing time.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate it. I feel like sometimes we just have a lot of questions, but we do appreciate the info and the time.
Anytime you guys want more information on data, just call me. I can find it. And if you ever want to sit down and look at the STAR has like 20 other reports that we don't pull.
Yeah,
So anytime.
for sure.
So big question was, what are we doing about all this? And so that's what we're going to talk about here next. We have our day, as you know, has 7 periods, and our first period class in the past has been mostly reserved for what we call exploratory classes, but now we've changed it a little bit. One of the things we've done with our first period class, which is just a 35-minute class, is the first quarter, everybody takes this school success class, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And outlined here is the things that they learn, the goals that we have, kind of the so we work on community building, school-wide expectations, emergency procedures, study skills, test-taking skills, executive functioning such as organizing, prioritizing, making decisions, learning from your decisions, goal setting. This is also where we do some of the state required curriculum around drug and alcohol and opioid trainings, Aaron's Law, sexual abuse prevention, and bullying prevention. That's all required by the state. So we use that first quarter to front load a lot of that knowledge and skills with the students and a lot of the reminders for some of the older 8th graders. And help them get the school year off to a good start. So that's something that we started that last year, and then the year before was I think it was just we did it for 6th graders for that. But this now we're doing it with all 4 grades. That's our first quarter, first grade class. So slide. Another thing we do for those first period classes is 2nd and 4th quarters. We do our called the challenge courses, the challenge classes. Those are 2nd and 4th quarters. And we use the STAR testing data along with other data and classroom observations and things to decide who's going to go into each different challenge class. And the kids that are struggling in math and reading, if I can go into one of those challenge classes and use a separate order. We don't want to be redundant in our services and interventions with the students. So generally, we don't put students with IEPs because especially if the students with IEP are already receiving specially designed instruction in those areas. So we get students who are scoring low, but each department discusses it and determines which of those students with a little bit of extra help, we call it our tier 2 interventions, with a little bit of help can possibly bump up their skills and come out a little bit better. So and we also have the geography challenge, STEM challenge, fitness challenge, and then 3rd quarter, we have an extra writing challenge for students. And each of those classes are really, the goal for each class is to challenge the students to improve their skills in those content areas through project running activities and things that promote higher level thinking and engagement. And it's also, it's a class that gives them structure to allow the teacher to use a workshop approach to those classes, and it's hands-on, and a lot of times it can be individualized. And it also provides the opportunities for teachers to have smaller classes where they can provide more targeted instruction and more targeted support and strategies than a larger core language arts or math class can do. And for the STEM challenge and geography challenge, students get in depth on specific subjects. Like we had our 7th grade STEM challenge class building small engines, like small little model engines. And then we had our 7th grade global challenge or geography challenge. They took a deep dive into medieval times and medieval history and things. So, and so what we found through those challenge classes, a couple of things that seemed really promising. The teachers are enjoying the opportunity to really dig into various aspects of their subject and share what interests them and the students. And then with the math and language arts teachers, they're finding that their smaller challenge classes provide an opportunity to really help individual students on a consistent daily basis. So it's been really nice. And multiple students that have had the math or reading challenge classes have actually requested to get back into them in the 4th quarter. So it's something that a lot of these kids have found enjoyable, where things finally start to click with certain math concepts or reading comprehension challenges. And teachers are able to build better connections with the smaller class sizes like that too. And then we found with the reading challenge class specifically that the average growth of students in the reading challenge class was higher than the average growth of students who weren't in the challenge class. So those learners who are performing at a lower level progressed more than their peers who were not in the reading challenge class. So then we also have, for student enrichment, we have the number of 3rd quarter. We take the 3rd quarter first period class, and that's where they have the exploratories, and you'll see listed there. Those are all the options that students have available to them for their 3rd quarter exploratory. And those are just a lot of really a little more laid back enrichment type classes where teachers get to choose something that they're interested in and bring it to the students. And it's just, it can be a really fun way to start the day and a fun way for teachers to connect with students and vice versa. And then we also have for the enrichment, we have our electives, and those are the electives that will be available next year. And so you can see the full list of those there, and that is a full year or one semester class. So if they choose an elective that's just one semester, they can take two different electives for one for first and one for second. And those are full length classes that are 52 minutes long, like their core classes. So those are some of the fun things we're doing with the students. And so from there, from what we offer students, I want to transition over to what we're doing with the teachers for instructional improvement. So next. Oh, the clubs. Yeah. Okay. I was looking right at it. Yeah, so we are offering a number of really fun clubs for the students to offer them some extracurricular activities that are high interest for the kids. And you can see the list of those there. We have Homework Club and Dungeons and Dragons Club, the Comic Book Club, Last Airbender Club. Some of these are lunchtime clubs. Some of them are, we have one, the Sources of Strength Club, that meets before school now on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then some of them are lunchtime clubs.
I want to point out that except for the Homework Club and the Sources of Strength Club, the ones in between are all volunteers.
Yes.
Which is they're giving up their afternoons or they're giving up their lunches and how these clubs happen. Pretty cool.
And then we have the Believers Club, which is a club for believers. So it's a lot of fun. Our key teacher, Mr. Franklin, runs that one. So anyway, now we'll go on to the other thing. For professional learning, for professional development, we've brought a couple of different things in for our teachers this year that have been really exciting and dynamic and have really helped teachers and administration work together to improve things. Like first, building literacy with the students and teaching literacy across content areas. We brought in a group through the ESD. It's TNTP, stands for the New Teacher Project. They just call it TNTP now because they don't just focus on new teachers, they focus on all teachers. So, but they still call it TNTP. Anyway, they started by doing coming and doing a learning walk, which they covered almost all of the classes, and we're looking for specific criteria. I only have one copy of this, but I can pass it around if you're interested. And this is kind of what we're looking for when we go into classrooms to see what teachers are doing to build literacy with their students across all content areas. And so they came back after their first learning walk and gave us their analysis, and they took that analysis and used it to develop some professional development opportunities for teachers. And so we had literacy focused teacher professional development in November, December, January, February. And for each one of those, the teachers learned some new skills around or reviewed some skills that they and refresh some skills that they'd already been using, but kind of refine them. And things like engaging students in high-level text-based discussions with their peers and using carefully designed questions and things like that. And then they took those skills, practiced them for a month, and then brought some work samples back to the next professional development session, and then added to the repertoire and continued that cycle for 4 different sessions. And another thing that TNTP did with us is we met as a leadership, as administrators across the county every month and had a leadership focused session with them just about to improve us as administrators as instructional leaders and instructional coaches and things like that. So and then we also had individual school leadership consultations. So before each of these PDs that we had with the teachers, we would meet with the TNTP group along with our ESD folks for a leadership consultation. So there was really a lot to it, and a lot of I learned a lot about just how to be a better instructional leader, and the teachers were able to practice some new strategies and some old strategies to refine them and things to help build literacy with their students. So that was around literacy and reading. And then, so next one, this was something that we brought in again through the ESD. They brought a group called the Teacher Development Group, and they're focused specifically on building math on the middle school level, building math skills on the middle school level. So we worked together with 3 other mid-sized middle schools. It was Oakley and Pleasant Hill and Lincoln Middle School, and we worked with their math teams and their instructional coaching teams and their administrative teams all together and learned so much. It was a fantastic opportunity, and it involved a full day training at the beginning of the year with teachers and administration. We'll all learn the same things together, and so it was really fun and really enjoyable to get on the same page with the teachers about what we were going to be focused on over the year in our instruction and things. So
This happened at the beginning of this year.
yeah, that was the first thing that we did. And then after that, we went to studio sessions, where we went out to Pleasant Hill Middle School and did some more professional development there, some more workshops. And then we had a classroom observation with one of the teachers who was learning along there with us. And then we would go back and kind of discuss and learn from what we saw and how it was applied. And we also had, in addition to that, so we did that twice. And then we also had 2 implementation days where the teacher development group and BSD came and visited all of the math classes and helped them develop the lesson that they were gonna present that day. And then they had a session before and a session after where they were able to get some really valuable feedback. And then plan for the next one. And then they also offered additional observations and assistance. So it's been a really dynamic, really helpful, really eye-opening for me, not coming from a math background, just learning more about how I can support the math teacher. So as an instructional leader. So Ms. Johnson is going to talk about the next thing that we did over this year. And then after Ms. Johnson's done, we'll turn it over to our leadership students to talk about the fun stuff.
Talk about the fun stuff. Okay, so, you actually did hear about this from some of the other districts, district schools, because this was a district-wide initiative that we did around the multi-tier systems of support, or MTSS. This is what we tie in our benchmark testing 3 times a year. Then we use that testing for our data team meetings. We use that to determine how we can better meet the kids' needs at the tier 2 and tier 3 support levels. So what challenge class will work for this kid to help them improve? How can we work on their attendance? How can we work on their behavior? Sometimes how can we work on all 3 of those things, depending upon the student. So this year to help us with this process, we invited the Western Regional Educator Network, did I get that right? Yeah. To come in, and they did some teacher leader training. Miss Babcock was one of our teacher leaders who was part of that training, along with Mrs. Lloyd, Mr. Light, Mr. Piccolo, Mr. Metzger, Mr. Carmen, and myself. And they taught us how to facilitate meetings, how to look at agendas, how to make decisions, how to help groups facilitate and make a decision that everyone can buy into and be cohesive around. So it was really good trainings. And it was so good, in fact, that they had a grant that paid for the first 3-4 sessions, and we weren't done. We didn't want to be done. We wanted to learn more. So the teachers on their own time have put in 7 hours, I think, of volunteer time meeting with them after school, and a Saturday. So and again, their own time, their own hours. So I appreciate that they're willing to do that. At the same time, Eric and I, along with the principals from the other schools, have been participating in district training around MTSS. And we have our next one tomorrow. And thank you to Michelle for bringing all this, making it possible, because I think it's been really helpful. We've been able to make some changes to our data team meetings that have made them more effective and more comprehensive and shorter. And those are 3 things that are good to be. So we're pretty proud of what we've been able to do. And when we talk to other middle schools around the county, we are ahead of the game in terms of offering data team meetings at the middle school level, and in terms of offering real interventions for kids who are struggling at the middle school level. As middle schools, we don't have generally don't have a lot of title support, and generally it's hard within the middle school schedule. to make that happen. So I've fielded calls from principals all this year, I've been like, how did you guys do this?
What did you mean by title support?
Title I, yeah,
Reading sports, no sports.
yeah, there's less resources at the middle school level to provide support for students.
Rangers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll learn all this eventually, just about the time I'm done with this.
Okay.
Well, it's a title, remember, I forgot Kathleen was just saying, we use sport in our K-5, we could as a district. The money that we're getting going down each year, it used to be 15, 20 years ago, we used that money KA. So we had them, and then as the money continued to get reduced, we just really focused it at elementary level. So with title money, we get federal dollars from the federal government, it's all focused at K-5 and that.
I mean, we're trying to get them up to speed before they get there.
Yeah, it's easier to teach a kid how to read.
Yeah.
Which school they-
Try.
What that system doesn't account for is the transfer kids, the number of
Yeah.
kids that we get that work with us in kindergarten, first, second, third, so didn't get that amazing reading teacher that is at Benita. And now we have to try to close the gap. So,
But we don't have the research.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
one really great thing is that all three of these things that these efforts that we've outlined here, we have agreements with each one of the organizations to continue over next year. And the scope's gonna be a little different. So,
now the fun people who get to do fun stuff. And can I just say before they start, our leadership teacher, Mrs. Babcock, is amazing. But this particular group of kids, not just these guys, but their peers in the leadership class, they've done a heck of a lot of things this year. And we're very proud of all the things that they do around our school. It makes a difference to our kids. Part of the battle with these test scores is attendance. Part of the reason kids want to attend is the fun things that the kids design for them. So.
Good group right here.
Apparently it's girl power.
I was gonna say.
You have a lot of eighth grade alums this year. Funny, my seventh graders are more spread out between boys and. Hi, I'm Cassie Bassoff, most of you guys know me. I get the pleasure of being the adult advisor. I say I'm not the teacher, I'm the advisor. These guys and the rest of my leadership crew, they really run the show. They have been able to implement, this is my 4th year doing it, and the amount of things that we've been able to implement and change and grow throughout those years have been just beautiful. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Lizzie from Inspector. I'm Shaylin, and I'm 8th grade, and I'm the vice president. I'm Avalon, I'm in 8th grade, and I'm the student body president. I'm Reese, and I'm in 8th grade. I'm Riley, and I'm in 8th grade, and I'm for high fives.
Nice.
Did you say you give good high fives?
So she's part of the high five team. We have a whole team that regulates the high fives, our monetary
Oh, okay, yeah.
at our school. Yeah. So I have a really large group this year. Avalon's gonna go ahead and read.
So our officers, I'm the student body president, Shaylin is the vice president, Lila Cooper is our high five officer, London Skensick is our organizing officer, Ruth Schultz is our community outreach officer, Corbin Wired is our student store officer, Paisley Lambert is our spirit coordinator, and Isabella White is our secretary. Our other members of leadership are Riley Gall, Reese Rice, Taylor Gardner, Evelyn Vanderpool, Eva Crawford, Natalie Schuler, Drew Walker, Arabelle Kendrick, Jackson Weaver, Holt Jackson, Gwen Deskins, Galen Waldecker, Lila Reinhardt, and Kimberly Danknick.
So the officers are the group of students who run the teams, and the other students are a part of the teams. There's usually about 2 to 3 students a part of every team, and the officers are the ones who kind of decide what those teams work on.
Nice.
Amy.
Eric.
I don't know why it doesn't.
Okay, so we've had 3 dances this year. There's been the Welcome Back dance, which was held in October, the Glow dance, which was held in January, and the Spring Fling, which was recently in May.
Everyone had a lot of fun doing chaperone at the middle school games. They're a blast. They really were.
I think everyone's favorite's the glow dance overall because like there's just the lights and everyone's enthusiasm just increases.
Yeah. The
Looks like
I
it'd be
think
fun.
they are highest attended.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of fun.
Our in the community, we did the homecoming float, the heart of the community night, the Halloween carnival, and the chocolate walk.
So this is like where our students go out into the community and volunteer in different aspects. Some other volunteer stuff we did this year was the soup kitchen. We did the canned food drive. And a couple other of the kids did individual volunteer experiences as well. I just didn't have pictures.
We've only done 3 fundraisers. We did Fill the Cauldron, a world's famous chocolate, and staff versus student basketball game.
So Fill the Cauldron was our first fundraiser of the year. It was fantastic. The kids all stand out there in the pouring rain sometimes, and we collect money and cash check donations into our cauldrons. Kids have a really good time with it. And then the world's famous chocolate, that was a new one that we added this year. That was actually our most lucrative fundraiser. So I think we'll be continuing that one for sure. And then the staff versus student game it's a tradition. It's been a wonderful thing to add to our community. It was a tradition before I took over leadership, and I love that I get to continue that tradition for our community.
So around the school this year, we did a staff with student ball game, and then we had the students stole that we had like high fives and stuff. And then we had a gratitude project, which basically was just where we like made little slips that we put into people's lockers so they would have like a nice thing for the day. We had our spare days, which is dressing up for certain themes. Magic show assembly. Wait.
In the last day
In
of
the
school.
last day of school.
Those 2 haven't happened yet. That's why she's like, wait.
Yeah.
Those are still in the works. So the magic show assembly is still 2 weeks.
June 4th.
June 4th. And then the last day of school carnival will obviously be the last day of school.
Cool.
This year, we got to go to a leadership conference in Seaside. There are many workshops, and we learned so much from other schools where we're going to be implementing more kindness and other things that we learned.
So this conference was a 2-day conference in Seaside. I got to take them this year. This is the first year we got to do this. We fundraised real heavily to be able to do it. They worked really hard for the last 2 years to fundraise. Just my 8th graders got to go. And we went to workshops and got to talk to other schools and what other leadership programs are able to do and kind of take some of those things. We're already implementing a couple of things that we learned there. The kids did their meet and greet this morning at the door where the students are actually greeting the other students coming in. They had a good time with that. And then we're also doing our kindness initiative, which is our last couple of weeks of really impacting kindness in our school. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
So just to round this all out, thank you. There's guys. A couple things coming up. I encourage you to attend our band and choir concert, and that's coming up Wednesday, June 3rd at 6 p.m. I've been around to some of the music classes recently, and they're really stepping up their game. They're sounding real tight, and melodic. It's great. And of course, Monday, June 8th, 6:30 to 8th grade. So I would suggest you be there earlier because it fills up real fast. So,
For both.
Is that?
For both.
For both, yeah. Yes.
Been a while since I've been in an 8th grade graduation.
Yeah.
And it's roughly the temperature as well.
Motion star. Promotion.
If you want a spot close to the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Really appreciate your time and attention and questions and things. Any questions before we bow out?
Honestly, if you guys do want to come to promotions, let us know. We can reserve a seat.
I'll stand on, if I come, I'll stand on the side. Let the parents have them seats.
Okay.
I appreciate it though.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Open the window. Thank you. Nice.
I already do.
Oh, it's okay. Generally, it's small, because the graduation, except I think I was just renting. Or was for rent, too small.
Conference.
You were in Eugene, and I brought down, that's the majority of the cost. This phone call is, I think, to be like, well, $600 in revenue. I think.
Gotta fall asleep.
That was wow, I'm asking for.
Next.
All right.
I was kind of waiting for,
Yeah.
waiting for
That's-
a cool day.
I already gave Dan a hard time.
Oh, I was questioning this controls.
He said open the windows and I said it's too noisy.
I'll just have to remind him every time. I'll just be like, make it cold or the board meeting. Please.
All right, I guess we can start. Let's keep rolling.
All right. So first off, I just wanted to let you guys know this will be the last for your presentation that we're going to do this school year. Our meetings have kind of wrapped up between our local association and TREC, LUDC, the bargaining council. And we feel like these last 3 weeks are just kind of gatherings, awards night, promotions, graduation, like everything you're supposed to parents were. So plus we got final exams to be focusing on. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. With the schools this month, so on the left with Elmira, on Saturday, Elmira held their annual Chalk the Walk fundraiser put on by our amazing PTA. Families enjoyed chalk art, a dunk tank, food, the silent auction, and so much more. Thank you to everyone who helped make it a success and attended to support our school. So I was at Elmira on Saturday.
I dumped my kid. You feel really good.
Brian was also security for the event.
Yeah.
Cleaning.
Bouncer.
Fun.
The flute guy.
All right, and then on the right with Benita, Mr. Gwill's third grade class has created some amazing artwork from 3D watercolor, dinosaur landscape project to acrylic on canvas. The vibrant colors and creativity of the students was really stunning.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then the middle school, which they all just left, but it tied into just thanking the student leadership class for hosting the final dance of the year, the spring fling. It was such a memorable and fun event for our students. So I've been excited with the 8th grade shadow days. They've been coming up. I think we've had 5 of the 6 so far. The last one's this Thursday, but I think it's just nice to I get them involved in my classes and they are all willing to participate, whether it's drawing from Pictionary, vocab words, or asking partners the questions in Spanish when they don't even know Spanish. It's just been fun that the 8th graders have been willing to just jump in. And then on the high school, I did want to bring up, I'm sure you guys are going to see lots of data around the state test scores, but our initial data that we got from our staff meeting recently was really positive. It's going to come to be a grad requirement for the class of 2029. So I think that has helped. The block schedules was positive with the high schoolers, with the juniors. And one of the incentives we did, I don't know how many students earned it, but if they earned a 4 on all the state tests, then they would be able to have the white cord at graduation. The next year. Yeah, there were at least 4. So that's a pretty cool achievement for math, English, and science. But our numbers, I mean, we were impressed and happy. So I'm sure you guys will hear more about it. And then the last thing for the high school, sorry. Last thing on mine, and then Desiree will talk. Our health classes had the opportunity to hear from Lori Noggle from the Behavioral Health Pathway through Lane ESD. And students absolutely love the presentation, so we just want to thank her. The Behavioral Health Pathway helps students learn about mental health, stress, emotions, communication, and ways to support both themselves and others. The program also introduces students to careers in fields like counseling, psychology, social work, education, and healthcare. One exciting part of the program is that students can earn college credit while exploring careers within the health sciences field, creating another valuable college credit opportunity for Elmira students. And one of the biggest takeaways from Lori's visit was the idea that positive mental health moments can happen anywhere, even during something as simple and silly as a game of spoons. So I guess they had a lot of fun last week doing that, and the activity helped students connect, laugh, and build community while reinforcing the importance of healthy relationships and emotional well-being. So that was at the high school in Miss Tessa's class. So, all right. Desiree?
Okay, last month I came with my OEA RA update, and so, I remember if I mentioned last month, I found out that I'm actually a state delegate for NEA RA, which is the national level nerdiness that I enjoy. And so I get to go and do that and represent, aren't we Region 3, Region 2, Region 3, or Region 3, I say we're Region 3. As a state delegate. So that'll be July 3rd through July 7th in Denver, Colorado. So if you have plans to be in Denver that week, expect high traffic and lots of teachers out and about. It is kind of similar to OEA RA, where we kind of establish what like the national union's values are, our budget, like accept the budget for the year, conduct our elections for the NEA president, vice president, and different like board chairs. There's a lot of awards and speeches. So like the National Teacher of the Year, National ESP, which is like RIAs, of the year. We also give an award to like people doing great things in education outside of like our union. So the year I went, which was like 2 or 3 years ago, it was like the director of the NAACP came and gave a speech because he won an award. So it's pretty cool. As well as we get to debate those new business items. Again, I never knew we could discuss turf fields for more than 30 minutes until I went to NEA RA 3 years ago. So the week kind of looks like this. On July 2nd, most delegates travel in to wherever we are holding NEA RA. Each state has candidate interview panels. So all those candidates that are running for president, vice president, board chairs, and that kind of stuff meet with our candidate panels where they can ask some questions. So then they can give a recommendation to our whole state caucus. And then special interest caucus meetings meet. So there's like a women's educators caucus. There's a Black Educators Caucus. So all these special caucuses kind of meet. It's a lot of like very similar to like the national level like voting and politics system of you've got small interest groups and stuff. July 3rd, all day we are in our state level caucus meetings. So I will just be with the 300 or so educators from Oregon, and we will discuss our stances on those NBIs and other proposals. And when I say all day, I mean from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So we get a lunch break, which is nice. July 4th, we do a half day of business because of the holiday. So we have a morning caucus with our state, and then there's an afternoon with our national caucus. And usually in the evening, we have time to go celebrate Independence Day, go find somewhere where there's fireworks, that kind of stuff. And then July 5th through 7th, all day, business meetings, and this is the most fun part. So from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., we have our state caucus meetings. I'm actually going to be on a committee that gets up at 5 a.m. To read through those new business items that we're going to talk during the day about and come up with our caucus's stance on those NBIs, so we can, give people kind of an informed decision recommendation. So my mornings are going to be really early. And then we're in meetings until 7 p.m. So it's a very long day. We do get a break for lunch. It's a lot of speeches, a lot of debate, and it's just democracy in action. And fun fact, the NEA RA is the largest parliamentary procedure gathering like in the world. There's like 7,000 educators going through Robert's rules in one big room together. So that's really cool to be a part of. And then July 8th, we get to come home. Some people extend their time wherever it is and do some extra stuff, but I'm gonna miss my cats, and so I'm gonna come home on late. But it will be fun. It is a good time. Any questions?
Oh, awesome. It's great.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I didn't know I was going until like right before I went to OEARA, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're coming." I was like, "Okay, cool." There's a week plan in my summer right there. So It'll be fun. It's fun for me. Again, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
All day going over Robert's rules.
I love Robert's rules. During one of our meetings, I was like, point of order. And like, I got up and so I get really nerdy about it. Yeah. So a lot of fun. Anyway.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's so, huh, Jake?
You got it. Good.
Riley left you hanging.
I know.
Talk fast.
Typical.
Okay, so starting off with sports, we have track. Season is wrapping up. They made great progress, and there's a lot of PRs this year. Districts are this Thursday and Friday in Sutherland, and then the following week, next week, we have state at Thursday and Friday at Hayward Field. A really cool thing is Ava broke the school record in the girls' 100 meter.
Cool.
And we have about 7 athletes predicted to be going to state this year.
Awesome.
In baseball, they've had a good season. Their win-loss ratio is 15-9 full season with an 8-6 league so far. They're 20th in 3A state ranking, and they have their next game tomorrow versus Sisters at home. Softball, they've also had a good season, 16-5 full season win-loss ratio and 10-4 through league. And they're 14th in 3A state ranked. And they also have a game tomorrow at Sisters at home. Golf, we have concluded the season. One boy went to districts, place. It's just a club this year, so it's kind of like volunteer to do it. And it was 2 days, and it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So not a lot of kids who did it. My brother's the only one that wanted to go. And so he ranked 29th out of 73rd. So that's pretty good.
Not bad.
And then 2 girls went to districts. They both did JV, and one of them was in a group that got first for the JV group in districts. That's pretty cool. So we had our end of the year pizza party at Diamond Woods on Thursday. Outdoor school, they're there actively, from what I've heard. They've had a great time. Today's the day the kids came, so they're still like acclimating to the situation at hand. So there's that. Also, phones are like strongly prohibited this year because of the mandates and stuff. So I think counselors are also getting used to that a lot, a whole basic day without phones. So that's it for teenagers. In NHS, due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to postpone our banquet, and we are now having it Wednesday, the 27th of this month. Random thing is, all the kids survived AP testing. We had that the week going into prom, and everybody made it. So
Cool. It's exciting.
yes, leadership. We had Wellness Awareness Week. It was, I think, a pretty good success. We've never done anything like it before, so I was pretty excited to see Daniel Gallo from Lane ESD came out. He talked, and I think some kids thought it was very helpful. It was a long assembly, about 45 minutes of him talking, so it was hard for kids to sit through, and some kids were chatting it up. So there's plus and minuses to it. We sent out thank you notes to him also for coming out. We had the I am and I can wall activity. Those went pretty good, per usual, for all the wall activities we've done throughout the year. And kids, it's kind of just watching them like look at the prompts that other people like wrote to. We also kind of eyes the No Drama Llama come out on that Friday, and that Brain Kids Day. So a lot of sugar in a llama. So we're doing
Llama went over as well as Vanderkart wanted it to.
Yeah. And said that, I can't take credit for llama. I told her about my plane. She's like, have you heard of this llama? I'm like, no. And so llama. And then prom went really well. Now I think my opinion went better than last year. I think a lot of kids were dancing. It was fun. It was a good time. We're also still working on condensing our documents. Today I made all my documents into one doc with all the links for our leadership advisor, and that went well. So she's got what she needs for next year. And the safety assembly went really, really well this year. I wasn't able to watch it fully because I was in AP testing, but I came out to the aftermath of it. Riley has a family friend who was actually in a drunk driving accident. And so he came out and personally talked, he has this wrecked car from about 20 years ago, brought it, showed the kids. And there was a lot of emotions, a lot of tears, a lot of questions, but it was so cool. The impact of it was insane. I've never seen the 4 years of the safety assemblies. I don't think anything like it. So
Cool. Riley set that up.
Yeah.
He's been a rock star. Not that you're not doing good,
Yeah.
just to say.
Yeah.
Riley.
And then write notes to him as well, thanking him. Okay, that's it.
Nice.
Good job, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Just keep going.
Sprint.
Yeah, all right, well, I only have 4 slides. It's social science adoption. As you guys know, we've been kind of getting updates all year. So essentially, the next slide gives you the timeline. September through January, the team comes together. They review the standards. They kind of talk about what they are doing, what their needs are.
Oregon Department of Education provides a lot of information sessions. Then usually beginning January through spring break-ish, you get samples, you go to a curriculum caravan, you look at the score sheets, you talk with a lot of publishers that want to shove it down your throat. And there's like, here, you want this one? It's like, no, these are the ones that they want to look at. So it's just a lot of like sales kind of happening. And so you're trying to really get through the videos and the little things or the free stuff that they give so that teachers can actually dig in and see what they want. Our teachers had their top 2 selected by March, and then they did some piloting. I think Desiree actually did some piloting this year too, right? So then they get their samples, they show it to kids, they talk to kids, they go on the platform, they get teacher access. And then if you remember in January, we decided to postpone K-5 just because it's a lot right now. So next year we'll spend the year aligning and doing an independent adoption of K-5. So right now we're just talking 6 through 12. So hopefully board action will be approved tonight to move forward with what we'll do. July, I'll have to turn in a purchase order. August, we'll get all the materials, professional development, planning, implementation support. And it will be in our 6th through 12th grade classrooms starting day 1. This next slide this is our team. We had Pete and Josh from the middle school, 2 of our social studies teacher, but really I looped in Brad Davis, our 3rd one as well on everything. He just didn't necessarily participate in every meeting. Our high school team was Pat Wandra, Sarah Whartonby, and Desiree. Fun. 6th through 8th grade selected TCI, and theirs is called Social Studies Alive, the Western Hemisphere, and then History Alive, the World through 1750, and then History Alive, the United States through Modern Times. And then 9th through 12th grade, they had quite a bit to adopt because they had a lot of outdated materials, and so we were able to kind of go with Cengage, National Geographic for the bulk of it. That's American government, world cultures and geography, personal finances, contemporary economics. The History Alive, Pursuing American Ideals is actually TCI, which is similar to our middle school one. So that'll be a nice transition for them before they go into all of these other ones. And then psychology. So then department teams kind of work together. They met as 6th through 8th grade teams. They did some alignment and some conversations. We have the samples here at the district office. Nobody has been able to come look at them. And we did a community input survey, shared that out a couple times, and we got 1 response. So that's it. So hopefully you guys will approve that adoption. I can move forward with getting everything ordered. Any questions? No?
I will make a motion to approve the 2026 social sciences curriculum.
Any discussion?
Thank
All those
you.
in favor?
Love it.
Aye.
I-
5-0.
Your middle school and high school teachers will appreciate it. All of it.
We really appreciate all you guys' hard work to get into it.
Yeah, you do a good job. I always start it with like, you guys are making a decision that impacts our kids for the next 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, don't take it lightly.
For sure.
Spend the time, look at it, find what you're gonna use and what will do the job.
Looks engaging.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. You're up.
First up, I want to thank Jake and Riley who fulfilled their duties as student reps to the board.
We won't see him no more?
No,
This is the last time? Oh, I'm gonna miss Jakey Poo.
The bar is high for next year.
Yeah, I made a note to remind myself I'll do the paperwork. Well, I think both Riley and Jake did outstanding. They're in their scholarship. Probably I'll get something to you if you can make awards night to
Yeah,
give
I will.
them certificates. If not, we can.
No, I'll make it happen.
Okay.
Do we know when it is?
We
June
do.
3rd.
Can't remember.
It's June 3rd.
June 3rd.
I think.
So anyways, thank you, Jake, and thanks to Riley as well. Quick update on kind of our two big summer projects related to the bond. We deal with the parking, the middle school. Every Monday morning at 10 a.m. we've been having a middle school planning meeting for the last month or so. We're on track there. Pre-work has begun, demos getting ready to get going. We're on track, no concerns. At the Veneta lot, all the trees are down. think Wednesday, all the trees are gone, either tomorrow or Wednesday, might be Wednesday afternoon. They'll start moving dirt, so you'll start to see a lot more activity over there, but both of them are underway and on track. I wanted to show you a picture. I've mentioned it a couple in the last few weeks in my Friday updates. The city has reached out about leasing the easternmost half acre of the Veneta property. We bounced back and forth a few times. So if you look at that, and it's actually oriented exactly opposite of the way we're physically sitting here on the earth. So that blue square is the eastern, let me look.
It's like the one overgrown chunk behind the baseball field, right?
Right, so here's our running track that goes around the field. There's a baseball field there, a baseball field over there. This is the apartments. This is here. This is the parking. And so we don't use this for anything. Previously, it's been everything from 10-foot tall blackberries to.
Can I go with my baseball bag when they mow it?
Yeah, you want them out of the poison oak back there.
Like this is the pool.
Okay. I didn't know they had it.
Yeah, I built it.
Where's the actual elementary school in this?
Door left.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my bearings. Okay.
So this is actually flipped exactly opposite if we were like looking at it, but the school is yeah. Put the blue square over there.
Oh. No. Wait,
One more. One more.
like this.
Bam. So here's territorial, here's Veneta Elementary, this is the ball
Okay.
field, the back property and pool. Okay, so anyways,
What do they want for?
they wanted to expand it to parking for the pool and the community center. So I just wanted to bring it up to the board, as long as no one has any significant objections, I'll tell you what I've been able to implement is that one, they'll install a 6-foot high fence on that property line. They'll insert a gate, we'll maintain the lock, they'll be in charge of all the maintenance of it.
Gravel or paved or?
Gravel initially, but they're gonna try to save money or plan to get.
Is it gonna connect to that street?
I do not know that. I don't think so.
You may have said this already, sorry, what are they using it for?
Parking.
Just parking.
Just parking.
But they will put in a gate that you can get in and out of the ball field, all that stuff.
Yeah, well, I told them we'd be able to maintain it. We'd also have the right to use it. So for our teams or coaches that are practicing there, they can go around there and park and have much shorter access to that field in front.
That's the parking lot.
We're essentially, I didn't want it forever. Well, I did a lot of research. I mean, I've been back there for the last 30 years. Again, we've never used it for anything, but I double checked with Dan. We don't really see anything in the future. But one thing we could consider was doing is selling it to them. But I don't ever like to, once we have a piece of land, I don't ever like to do that. So what we're gonna do is a 15-year lease. So every 15 years, we could say, do we want to do it again or not? So all of that information is getting written up. And
How much would the lease be?
0.
Oh,
Free. We're just letting them access it. They'll pay for all the attorney work and stuff now. There'll be $0 out of cost to us, but they're asking for just to have use of the ground.
Your thought process is just kind of, we don't do anything with it anyway.
Yeah, we have never, I don't see us ever, if for some reason something shows up, we've got this that we looked at every 15 years. I think it could help us in some ways, like I said, for larger field days.
Yeah.
Parents practicing, they'll be able to use that parking back there to access the backside of the property. It would take a task off of our maintenance crew who's constantly just, 4 or 5 times a year out there beating down the brush kind of thing. So it's definitely something I'm in support of. If anybody has any concerns, I guess, either share them to me now or in the coming days.
Is there anything at the elementary school that they may want it for? Like a track and field thing or an area for whatever that? Nothing that you know of?
I know.
It's just really far away from the school
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
And
It's just on the side, like, and I'm only saying as a coach, like, that's the side you always park on because you don't have to schlep all your stuff all the way across the, you know what I mean, the main field.
Yeah.
So the parking would be handy. I just wonder if there's another use for it or something. Maybe the term could be shorter or something in case something does come up.
I don't know, I just, I mean, that's some feedback you want me to give them is something, the other thing I'll mention is that, he was hoping to get this in this year's budget, within his city budget and do that. He does not. So asked him, well, do you want to just kick this down the road a year or two when you got the funding? He said, no, they want to get it now. They'll be in charge of maintaining it. Well, at least they're not going to be using it for parking, but they'll start to prep it so that when they go to apply for a grant or apply for funding to add this access, more parking to their pool and their community center, that they can show that, hey, we've already done this work. So I guess the risk of, you know, the reason we don't want to do a 3-year lease, well, they don't want to put $250,000 into that and then say, you know, let's say in 3 years, oh, we want it back. So what we talked about was 15, but if the board felt better with 12 or 10 or something, at some point it'll get low enough that that's kind of a risk for us, so that we put this money into it and then we're giving it back to you.
Yeah.
But we could always do contingencies. That's a possibility.
Contingency on what?
On the property, on the lease. You know, we're gonna lease them for X amount of time. If this happens.
Have a need for it or something.
Yeah,
Then we get that.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
just to cover us.
Yeah, would it open us to any kind of liability? Somebody gets hurt on the property because we still own it and they're leasing it.
Yeah.
That'd be a good.
Car accident or something.
Yeah, somebody runs over a kid in the parking lot because we're still the owner of the land. It's a good question. Yeah.
Well, that's definitely gonna
About the only thing I
happen.
would have.
For sure, because it's really close to the ball field.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
I will, that isn't a question I've asked. That's a good question. I will look into that. Perfect. Okay, so I would expect something around this. I would expect to have something on the agenda in June about this, so I'll keep you posted. Then just a reminder that Juan already mentioned budget committee tomorrow at 6:30 to 5:30. Miss Marshall and I will be doing a Zoom on K235. I think a premise for our post is either went out or going out a little bit. Be another reminder tomorrow.
That was at 5:30. Is that right?
Yeah.
5:30 soon.
Yeah. 5:30 Zoom. Last time we had 20, 25 people. Hope to get at least that many. There'll be a survey for those that attend. And then our kind of next step after this we'll start to work on our community-wide survey. So that we're going to kick out to far and wide towards the end of May, beginning of June. That's all I have.
All right, you still planning on going up to outdoor school?
Probably Wednesday.
Wednesday? We'll go? Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever been?
Oh,
Oh, cool.
yeah, I'd love to go up
There was a lot of crying parents that felt for him. That was me last year.
there.
It's like,
Like you'll be fine.
I just drop them off the bus and go off.
no, there was a lot of moms lingering in the drop off line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll text
Pick
you.
them out while I'm
Yes,
still
thank you.
home.
Yes. Perfect, all right. Moves us on to discussing items. Board action on the alternative education program. Is there a motion? My bad.
I make a motion to adopt the alternative education programs for 26-27.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Passes. Second reading of proposed 2026-2027 meeting schedule.
So this is probably for Bree. I have a question because we were talking about which work sessions to keep, which ones not to.
So.
Can we take them all off? Because it would be easier to add them as needed than to take them away when we don't want them. Was my thought process.
I do have a thought too.
What is it?
So my thought is when we originally did this, the work session was so that we could talk about anything on the agenda before the meeting. So that way we had time to actually discuss and look at things.
But sometimes, like today, nothing was on the meeting that we needed to talk about, so we had to go through the process of taking it away. So if we just took all of them away and then added them as we felt like we needed it, that would be a more seamless process.
So is it that you have to actually take them away, or is it just 48 hours that you have to advertise it before it happens?
Gary looked into it for me and we can, as chair, I can add them or subtract them. without board action. So to be honest, they can either all stay up or they can all come down. Either way, each month, we'll probably have it, just like I do. I'll call each one of you. I'll ask if you guys want something. If not, I'll either add it or I'll sit back.
Cause I also feel like we added them because we had so many new board
Yeah.
members, and now that they all have a year under them, I feel like they're not as necessary as we originally thought they might be.
I would like to just make sure that we continue to have enough time to look at the material before we approve anything.
Well, that's why Bree sends everything out though. Early, you know.
And then if we don't feel like we had enough time, then we could request a work session.
Yeah, and I'll continue to call each one of you before and ask if we want one. I mean, so, I mean, whether they're all there or all gone, honestly, it's not gonna change what I do.
I guess it makes no difference.
Every month.
And
Am I wrong in that assumption?
No, I don't think so. I think in that email I sent you, she thought there might be a little risk on that side about removing them. You know, so if somebody really wanted to challenge the fact that you had it on there, but she definitely said, you can do this, and just be about somebody saying, I don't think they're following past practice. I don't.
As long as we do, that's what matters.
Well, then let's remove all of them, and if we need to add them, then I'll add them, since it's less risk. Yeah.
And we just would add them before the public notice.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, like, I mean, we'll talk
And then
about.
and then you're noticing with the appropriate amount of time
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
you're.
Based on your conversation with us, if there's something you talk about.
Yeah, based on my conversation with you guys, we'll add them, just add them in as we need them.
And so I just want to confirm this, that you don't have to have a majority vote to have the work session.
We do not.
Okay.
It does not have to be voted on it to put it on the schedule or to remove it based on the information that we received.
But if we do want to have a work session prior to, then we can say, yes, we do want to do that without a vote.
And it doesn't have to be the day of the meeting. Like, at any time, if someone on the board wanted to have a work session, we just have to give proper notice, but I could add a work session, or we could add a work session tomorrow. Well, no, we need 48 hours, so it's been 2 days.
Thursday.
Yeah.
But you could have an emergency meeting.
Oh, yeah.
So then there's your 24 hours.
That's Robert's rules, and we'd have to check in with someone who
That's right.
knows. That's right.
You can also vote out of a meeting, you meet in September and talk about, hey, we want to have maybe have a work session in October, do people agree? Make a motion, get out of it right there in September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I think your suggestion for trying to learn all that stuff about the classes, I mean, I think we should have a work session on that at some point.
Sure.
I would like to make a motion to approve the 26-27 meeting schedule with all work sessions removed.
I second that.
All those any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Does that work?
Yes. Got it.
All right, 8C, resolution, transfer students for 2026-2027 board action.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 25-26-11, transfer students for 26-27.
I second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We good, aye, Mark?
Yeah.
5-0? Yeah. Second reading of the proposed policy update, JGE update expulsion and EFA G1 update local wellness.
I make a motion to adopt both policies as presented.
I second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. Passes. Late items, that takes us to late items? Oh, no, personnel.
Yeah.
There we go. I knew I was missing something.
The page break was a little confusing.
One word action. We have one licensed hire. Leah Moe, hired to fill the third elementary teacher spot at EAES.
I make a motion to approve the hiring of Leah Mode.
I will second that.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0. No licensed personnel to report. Late items. Well, I think,
The VS property.
oh, gotcha.
Perfect. We'll bring, I have no idea if it's time and place, but the middle school lunch, a bunch of kids are saying there's ants real bad in the food. What? Ants?
No, that's.
I feel like bunches and bunches of kids are telling me this. I was wondering if somebody could look into it maybe and.
Yeah, I'll check it too. We have ants in some of the lockers.
Yeah, like in the cereal and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
I haven't heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, I tell you that ants is really hard to get rid of because, we're limited in what we can use on them. So,
Don't put out anything.
I'm not.
Yeah, I was wondering if somebody could look into that, please.
Upcoming events. The board will, any upcoming events somebody wants to talk about? Graduation's coming up quick. I'm excited. Can't wait for that. Is that next Saturday? No.
No, you, right?
It's the 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's Friday.
yeah.
We'll go on Saturday.
Well, I better text my mom again.
2 weeks from this Friday.
2 weeks from this Friday. My mom's coming along. Maybe I'll leave it alone. Outdoor school, yeah, definitely. I'd love to go up with you guys. Anybody else wants to go do it? That's all I got. All right. Board will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.66 disciplinary of a public officer. An employee to consider the disciplinary over here complaints or charges brought against the public officer, staff member or agenda as well. As well, executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602K to consider matters relating to school safety or a plan that responsible for safety. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state that the general subject of the sessions are previously announced. No decisions may be made in executive session. At the end of executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. Thank you all for being here and have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Regular session. All right. No further after the regular session. Regular session. Sorry, I had to read my notes. Yes, seriously.
What?
Seriously.